So I believe that we are on the cusp of the greatest wealth transfer that we've seen in human history. And the reason I think that is because every monetary order in human history has fallen, especially when that monetary system is built on top of a base layer, built on top of a foundation that is utterly corrupt and backed by nothing, right? The dollar is a currency that used to be backed by gold, right? It used to be backed by a real commodity that was hard to create, hard to produce. So every dollar was one-to-one exchangeable for gold. In 1971, the dollar left the gold standard, making the dollar a paper currency that can be created at no cost, no energy expenditure. So therefore, the money fails as a store of value. And when the money fails as a store of value, then you see other prices of other goods, services, homes, things like that. Prices will seem to inflate, and the prices do inflate. So the general rule of thumb is that when it looks like everything is in a bubble, then there's only really one thing that's in a bubble, and it's the currency. Right? When it looks like homes are in a bubble, when it looks like the stock market is in a bubble, when it looks like food prices are in a bubble, gas prices, even like Pokemon card prices are in a bubble. When it looks like everything is in a bubble, there's one thing that's in a bubble, and it's the dollar, right? It's an unsustainable monetary system, right? Like we can't, as a species, operate when the currency that we use to exchange our value with each other as an abstraction of our time and energy is created out of nothing and doesn't work as a storage of your time and energy, your hard work, as an abstraction, which the dollar is. So when that fails, then everything else fails, and people are quick to blame other factors on why things are getting so expensive, when fail to realize that the dollar itself is the problem. And the reason I know that we're on the cusp of the greatest wealth transfer in human history is that we've never went from a fiat money, a money backed by nothing, to a money that is backed by energy, money that has a finite supply that can't be manipulated, money that can be sent anywhere in the world just with any internet connection, any electronic device. And that money is Bitcoin. And there's never been anything like this because you can buy any amount of Bitcoin, right? With our current monetary system, the people who own assets are the people that are doing okay despite the dollar depreciating in value. Like people that own homes, they're doing okay because since the dollar is crashing, the dollar is continued to be printed every year and lose its purchasing power. Home prices are also inflating because people use homes as a store of their value, right? When the money fails as a store of value, then homes become the store of value. And so the barrier to entry, though, to owning a home is quite high. But with Bitcoin, it's basically nothing. Anyone with a phone, a computer, can go to any Bitcoin exchange and purchase a part of this finite asset, right? And so it's like a gold rush, but instead of, going to California, moving your family to California, going to a gold mine and trying to strike gold, all you have to do is go to a Bitcoin exchange and press buy, link your bank account, and buy some of the hardest money that humanity has ever seen. And it's just crazy to me that people, even if they're skeptical of Bitcoin, won't at least put a couple of their chips on the table as to saying this might be the money of the future. This might turn into the way that humans by default store their time and energy. And to completely ignore it, even if you're the most skeptical person in the world about Bitcoin, you think it's scam, whatever, you can still put $1 a week, $1 a month into this completely finite asset on just the chance that it becomes the base monetary layer of Earth in the future. But like, you know, the dollar's going to fail. And like, what other money do you see replacing the void that once the dollar inevitably falls? What is going to fill that void besides something that is transferable anywhere in the world in seconds via the Bitcoin Lightning Network, and something that no one can mess with, is backed by energy, the energy needed to create more Bitcoin, right? The energy needed to mine. Like, do you have a better alternative? It's not gold, right? Gold is historically a pretty good store of value, but we still don't know the exact amount of gold, right? So we can't really plan for the future when, who knows, like an asteroid could hit Earth and that asteroid could be 90% gold. Obviously that's a long shot, but the supply of it is still unpredictable. With Bitcoin, we know there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin between now and the end of time. So you can bet on that happening. And yeah, like, what other money do you see replacing the dollar? It's not going to be just another fiat currency. It's not going to be the euro. It's not going to just be another money that's printed out of thin air. It's probably going to be Bitcoin. And even if you think there's a 1% chance of that happening, put 1% of your eggs in that basket. Like, that's what I don't understand when I get comments like, Bitcoin is just speculative, you know, you're just betting on it. Sure, then if you think that, then speculate on it with a small amount. $1 a month, right? Skip the caramel drizzle on your Starbucks every month and put $1 into Bitcoin. That's all you have to do. You're the most skeptical person on earth, right? Like, I'm not saying put all your savings into something you don't understand. It's a gradual process when you learn about money, the history of money, what makes sound money. It's a gradual process that eventually you'll come to the conclusion that Bitcoin is the best form of money into the future, right? So I'm not saying go all in before you understand it and really like have the conviction that that is what's going to happen. Just put a couple dollars into it whenever you get the chance. Just treat it like a savings account, an alternate savings account to your current method of savings, right? That's all that you really have to do to buy a ticket to the great wealth transfer that will be the changing of the monetary regime from the dollar to Bitcoin. So yeah, that's about it for me. If you want to get some Bitcoin for yourself, I have a couple referral links down below. My personal favorite is River. They're a Bitcoin only company. They have proof of reserves, so you can check that they actually own all the Bitcoin that they say they do. So that's big. And Strike as well is my second recommendation. Those links are both down below. And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. That helps out the channel a ton. As always, together, let's work, save, and build a better future with Bitcoin. See you in the next video.